Captain Albatross back again for part 2 of GM Roulette featuring Lucas and John of Rule of Lore. Thank you guys again for coming on. And John, I'm gonna let you give us a little recap of what happened in part 1 of our little story here.
Yeah, so to recap, we rolled steampunk as the genre, so we are playing in the steampunk city of Bellport, where our 3 plucky adventurers, Milky, a large, like, sort of made out of brass, like, humanoid, like, shield bearer, Alfred, our hammer-wielding, sort of, like, adept, and Maxim Volkov, a very like sort of scientific adept who absorbs energy, set out to meet a contact of Maxim's named Professor Crow, who explained that he had a map to an island full of treasure hoarded over decades by the dread pirate Starbreeze, and that he had commissioned a ship and crew to take them in search of it using the map that he had discovered. They left the house and were summarily attacked by a bunch of burgundy, like, sort of clad assassins with rocket-powered daggers and all kinds of cool shit. The assassins were defeated, but managed to kidnap poor Professor Crow, who disappeared with 2 of them in a burst of smoke as one of them threw down a smoke bomb. We identified the burgundy-clad figures as belonging into a murderous knowledge cult called the Seekers of Truth, and then used our rocket-propelled steam horses to find our way to the docks with our captured cultist, and that,
I believe there are turbo horses, actually.
Yes, turbo horses. And I believe that, guys, gals, and non-binary pals, is where we are picking up the story.
Yes. So.
All right. So Lucas, once you're ready, I'll hit the timer. Just tell me when to go.
Okay. I'm good to go.
All right. Let's go.
All right. So we return, sort of camera zooming down into the docks district of Bellport, as the turbo horse-drawn carriages draw up to a sudden halt, throwing the contents of the carriages into chaos as they stop so suddenly in front of a large steamship. On the side of it, in sort of like chipping paint, you can see the name, the HMS Endeavor, sort of painted across it. The gangplank is sort of has been kind of raised to it, and there are people, sailors, kind of going up and down carrying crates. A couple of them sort of stop to stare at the carriages as they pull up so suddenly, yeah, as you all kind of as the carriages come to a sudden halt, you all find yourselves thrown around on the inside a little bit. And because seatbelts haven't been invented, so even though turbo horses have, so that's very unfortunate. Yeah, the carriages suddenly stop. The tails of, like, the synthetic hair of the turbo horses sort of slowly just kind of with the sort of like a clicking of clockwork lower back down, hiding the sort of like rocket jets. And the carriage suddenly just sort of, which was previously humming with that kind of kinetic momentum, then just sort of, and everything is quiet, or as quiet as things ever get around the docks district.
I thought they outlived those decades ago.
No, Captain Stafford, well, we served in the Great Cold Wars together.
Let's go through our things. Let's get off of here. What you call it? I don't think we specified whether or not, but I definitely would have wanted to have taken Dr. Crow's research if it wasn't also taken by the Burgundy guys. Do we have that on us? Dr. Crow's
I would say
books?
that makes a lot of sense. They really didn't have a whole lot of time to take anything but Crow. Especially since at the time Crow's carriage was tipped over. They wouldn't have been able to get in there. So, yeah, you definitely have the research.
So I definitely unpack that. They may have gotten Crow, but at least we have his work. And I take it off the, out of the carriage.
I think the 3 of us step out. I imagine they're like, Alpha goes, come on, love. And then, like hauls the guy in chains out, like the just mummified like cultist in chains out onto the ground.
Which, like, he definitely woke up as soon as the carriages came to a halt because he got thrown like face first. Like you can see his nose is like where the mask is sort of now askew. Like you can see like his nose is bleeding a little bit where he like went face first into the seat in front of him when the carriages stopped. And he's like, what's going on? And he sort of shakes in like the chains. And he kind of looks.
So,
we made a bit of an adjustment to the outfit.
He reaches into his coat pocket and whips out like it looks like a small electric pipe. He starts to pull on it, like the lights on the side of it like kind of whir up as he pulls, and then as he stops pulling, like lights go back down. He lets out like a puff of like bluish smoke. He says, maybe we don't do this in public. He looks around to see if there's any like people watching us.
Oh, there's quite a few people who like drawn to the like their attention drawn to the carriages that just sort of jetted into the docks. There's like quite a few people just sort of staring at this whole thing. And as you're looking around, you catch the sight of like an individual stepping down the gangplank, sort of passing by some of the sailors who are carrying stuff up. And Milky, you recognize the form of Captain Stafford, sort of wearing his captain's uniform that looks a little threadbare at the sides. You can see where it's sort of taken some of that sun bleaching, and a little bit of like the salt sort of has kind of caked on it a little bit in some places, sort of damaging it. And as he steps down, he looks around at all of you. He says, "So, you lot are the ones we've been waiting for, is that it?" And he kind of like looks across all of you. And his gaze sort of lingers on Milky. He says, "You are a shield guard, yes?"
Yes, my body's different, but we have met before. It's nice to see you. It's Milky Williamson.
"Milky, my good man." And he walks over to you and just sort of like takes like the forearm clasp, right? Like there's sort of,
yeah.
He says,
I extend my arm, and since the salt water is not, conducive to my bra, you hear the creaking sound as I extend my arm. I say, I will need to oil this later, as I extend my arm to him.
Yeah. And he looks at you and says, "Sparks, but you look different than last time I saw you."
Yes, I had a little incident. I lost both legs, an arm, and a lung. But I'm okay now.
"And who is our charming companion?" He kind of glances sidelong at the chained guy there, just sort of still kind of struggling against the bonds.
Oh, what's your name? Forgot to ask.
Yeah. He kind of turns his head towards you. And you can tell that he's like trying to spit, but he can't. Like his mask is just slightly askew, so he can't quite get it out.
Let me get that for you, and I'll flip the mask up, and I'll his nose back into place.
He goes, "Oh, ah, oh." And he's.
Do you know anything of the Seekers of Truth?
Before we start interrogating this guy out in public, I definitely like while Milky and the captain were like, saying their hellos, I would have turned to any crowd or people looking and used the demeanor of command and just been like, there's nothing to see here, everything's fine. It's just a bandit we caught stealing, we're taking him to jail. That's all. Like.
I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna have you make an intellect roll on this one. It's sort of like a sort of general persuasion task on here.
Okay.
As he's saying this, because I'm an asshole, I'm gonna be kicking the guy. Where he's like, "There's nothing to see here."
All right. So yeah, go ahead and give me that. Intellect task, and the difficulty on that one's it's going to be lowered to 3 because basically you drew a lot of attention just now, so it's down to.
I rolled a 3, but I'm gonna use. I'm positive Maxim has an XP because you haven't used any, so I'm gonna use that 1 XP and re-roll that because I really don't want attention on us right now. Oh no, it fell off the table. All right, roll a different one. Oh my god, that one fell off the table too. Come on, why are these stone dice so bouncy? I got an 8 that time, so it's still a failure.
Okay, so like you can see. Yo, yeah. What were you saying?
I was like, I'll spend an XP on it. Give it one more shot.
All right. Don't bounce off my table, please. All right, I got 17 this time.
Okay, so you can see as people sort of like look around, they look at you and they kind of nod to each other like, oh yeah, that makes sense, you know, and sort of like start slowly crowd kind of dispersing. And then after a while, it's like the usual bustle is restored as people are kind of like coming and going as they usually do. Captain Stafford, as you say that, Milky, he says, he kind of glances around, suddenly very alert, and he says, maybe we should take this conversation inside. And he says, "Come aboard." And he says, "I'll have some of my men get your belongings." And he sort of starts leading you up the gangplank.
And just dragging the guy behind them by the chain.
I was wondering, Captain, have you seen any other ships sail out of here recently? It seems the person that hired us has been kidnapped, scallywagged.
Right. Well, no more or less than usual, but here. And we reach the cabin, and he like leads you inside, and he goes over to the cabinet and pulls out like a bottle of bourbon and just sort of pours it for himself, and then pours a couple of others and sort of pushes them across the table. He says, "So, the Seekers of Truth, is that what you..." He takes a sip and then just says, "Well, that does make a bit of sense. They've been a bit more active lately, shall we say. A few of them have, their representatives have come around asking questions about unusual cargoes and passengers. It's, I was getting a bit worried, and I thought it might have something to do with this, but, and he kind of glances over at the guy who's still chained and just sort of there. Says, "They're the ones who attacked you then on the way?"
Aye.
I see.
Duh.
Also, they seeking this map that we have, this device.
I
Doc,
whip it out
show
to
him
show
the
the
map.
Yeah, I definitely reach into my coat. I whip out this big silver orb. And I activate it. I turn it on. Illuminates the room. Shows the the navigational coordinates that I'm positive the captain will understand.
Yeah, he looks around at it, and you can see that his jaw drops slightly. He says, "Aye, that would make sense." He says, "All right. So, how do you want to handle this? Are we going to head without him, or are we mounting a rescue?"
Doc,
Wait.
do you think...
I stroke my beard. Oh wait, does Maxim have a beard? I forget.
Yeah, he does. He does now. He definitely does.
He strokes his beard.
He grew a beard from all the stress that happened in the last 30 minutes.
Listen, we've all been there. We get stressed out, grow a beard. It's
Like Alfred grew an Irish accent between like the carriage and the docks. So
So he strokes his beard. Says, "Crow was a good friend, but he seemed very intent on getting the treasure. Maybe we could use some of the treasure to bribe the Seekers of Truth to give him back or pay him off. If we go after them, we could possibly lose the map to their hands if we're not careful. Who knows what... I don't think they'll kill him. But who knows?"
I would I would like to try something. I was like, I've got a wee bit of an idea. And then I would like to try and use my telepathy cipher very creatively. I would just like to take this like really ornate looking like earpiece and clip it one onto me and then the other one onto the poor Terry the cultist. I don't know if that's actually his name, but that's
Sure,
what I'm
it is
gonna
now. And you know that now because you have the telepathy thing. So you know his name is Terry.
Yeah, I'm just gonna like I'll clip it on and then just like give him a little rap on the forehead and be like, all right, Terry, we're gonna have a wee bit of a talk. If you were going to kidnap a well-respected elderly researcher for the knowledge that he had, where would you take him?
I'm not telling you nothing. And then like he says that, but then you hear like in his head, that you can kind of like hear like the voice. Whereas I'm not even gonna bother making this a roll right now because he has absolutely no idea what you just did. He doesn't know what this is.
Yeah.
So you can hear his voice in his head saying, I hope everybody's made it to the tunnels under the historical society, and like, he says, "You can torture me all you like, but I'm not gonna tell you nothing."
Oh no. This has been so pleasant so far. Just sorry, it's a bit out of, and then just like it was a little like his nose is just a little off center, just like
Stop doing that.
Sorry, it was bugging me. It can't have been comfortable for you.
I picture this poor guy's nose is going from side to side.
Yeah, and there's just like every time, like there's just more blood that comes out, sort of pours down over his mouth. Yeah.
Oh,
so anyway, how like about how many of you are there? Really, just I'm curious. Like it just seems like I see your flyers everywhere, the pamphlets floating around on the wind. Like you've got a parade float last week even. I don't know how you managed it, but
he just looks at you and just says there's so many of us. You're never gonna get through any of their protections. All of our assassins are highly trained. and like
what is his inner monologue says?
His inner monologue says, about like maybe about like 24 or so. Like immediately, like you just see like hear like the 24 like in your mind. Like,
yeah.
But Maxim interjects. He's like, all that aside, will they spare Crow if we give them some of this treasure we may find, or are they gonna kill him?
They're not interested in the treasure. What we want is the knowledge that the map brings. Knowledge is powerful. It's the most powerful thing known to humankind. So it's the one thing that the society wants.
So I look over to my companion and say, I whisper a little bit, like, what if we get the treasure and just give him this orb once we're all done, right? That we got what we wanted, right? Then we can get Crow for the map.
We could do that, but there's like.
Well, you see, Crow signed here, and he signed. Flip the page. He signed here. There's nowhere in this document that says that he has to be alive upon completion of the mission.
Shieldguard is very dubious.
Oh, wait a minute. Let me check. No. It doesn't say anything about being alive.
Right. But counter argument. I could hear what he was thinking, and there's only like 2,000 of them in the tunnels of this.
Only 2,000?
No, yes, 2,000. Terrifying, horrifying army of cultists.
I like those odds.
Crow we could save him then. And how far is he said it's under the historical? So I wouldn't have heard that, right? The tunnel thing that would have been in his mind. Yeah, so that I just said, how do you know this?
I nicked a few things while I was at the professor's house, and he had something. I put it on his ear. I didn't know what it did at the time, but I could hear his thoughts. Imagine that.
Look over. I think we can do it.
Stafford, who's kind of been listening in on your sort of side conversation, says, "I've got a few fighting lads. I suppose I could lend them to you if you're planning this as a rescue." At least could cause some distractions here and there.
Oh, like the Battle of Silver Tongue. Remember
Just-
when we
Just like
snuck
the
in the
Battle
back?
Signal. Exactly. I even had some of my boys put together some of those powder kegs like we did back then.
Oh yeah, oh those are good times. I miss my real legs.
And I look over to the captain now that he's interjecting. I say, I reach into my coat. Again, you can. This is just flavor, but I whip out a couple of credits or whatever money would be in this gold. Say, would you be able to like keep this guy in the brig? For a little bit of extra coin, I toss it to him.
Oh, we've tangled with the Seekers of Truth many a time. It'd be an honor to have them, have one gracing the inside of our brig.
Yeah, so we got that under control.
So can I use my soldiering role to talk to the troops so we get an asset, whatever plan we do that they're gonna.
Sure. So we'll say that basically after all this kind of like skipping time a little bit as you all get preparations ready, the guy, they didn't even bother taking the chains off him. They just stuffed him in the brig, chains and all. So he's just sort of like huddled on the ground, sort of like doing this really awkward like worm kind of thing to get himself like oriented. And as you all kind of gather some of the sailors who have started, kind of taking their clockwork kind of revolving pistols and sort of have taken a few of them in like bandoliers and stuff and are sort of strapping those bandoliers on. You can see as the captain sort of has them arrayed around you as they're all like, he's sort of informed them as to like what is happening here. And so go ahead if you want to. So what exactly are you doing?
I look into your eyes and I see brave men. I see brave soldiers. I like the cut of the jib of all of you. I have died 4 times. I've been resurrected 4 times. What I'm trying to say is, don't be scared to get shot or stabbed or maimed or possibly beheaded. Because you could come back. Look at me. We're going to give you some directions. Some of you may not make it. Some of you may make it and be blown apart. But that's besides the point. The point is, we will kick the Seeker of Troops' butts. And your children will be proud of you. I'm sure the great captain will be proud of you. And if we can't find your remains, you're shit out of luck. All right, so let's go, boys.
There's like a tear running down Alfred's face right now, and just like there's a solitary, just like slow, like.
Oh my God!
Since
I got a 19 on the roll, though.
Oh, nice!
Incredible! Yeah.
But Maxim would have been again. He's trained in like the public speaking. He's a speaker, so he would have been doing sign language for anyone who's maybe hearing impaired. So, but he's definitely signing along and letting other people know what is being said, so
Amazing.
Everyone hears everything.
Excellent. I love that. So yeah, you get that's a minor effect, I think, too, isn't it?
Yep.
Yes. I'll with my minor effect, can we say that John has a special unit? Oh, I'm sorry, that Alfred has a special unit of like axe throws or something, because I'm gonna lead the main infiltration into the tunnels, and we'll give Alfred like an asset on trying to sneak in and actually find, what you call it, find Crow.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm for that. That sounds great.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got like a bunch of the you get a bunch of like maybe 3 or 4 of the sailors sort of gather around you, Alfred, as they've got like where others have like bandoliers of like their sort of like clockwork pistols. These guys have like bandoliers of axes, sort of like small throwing axes that they're just ready to be like, so. And as you all kind of gather, Captain Stafford says, we'll need an inn, and I think I might just know who that would be. We need to talk to Maribeth Baines. She's a local local woman around the area, and she knows all the ins and outs of the underground societies. She'll be able to give us some, well, let's just say she owes me a favor. So, sort of fast forwarding time a little bit, you find yourselves in this sort of like, just sort of on the edge of the docks district, this really just seedy sailor's bar, just low visibility because it's like partially underground. It's just smoke and steam pervading the atmosphere. Many of the like sort of naphtha lamps that are sort of reflecting in the steam and smoky haze that are making it sort of this multicolored sort of haze. It's a little bit like being at a rave, but it's like the atmosphere is much more sort of subdued, and suspicious eyes follow you as you walk through the place. Making your way to one end, you can see as there's a woman probably in her late 40s or so, very sort of thin and bony, and she's got sort of this sort of like lank kind of greasy hair that's sort of hanging around kind of shoulder length, and she's sitting around a gambling table with a whole bunch of people, and she just sort of and then just sort of casts some dice, and you immediately hear just everybody around the table just oh, and sort of like all the profanity, and she's like, she's, well, better luck next time, boys. And she collects the dice and sort of scrapes a bunch of the coins back towards her, and looks up. She says, well, Captain Stafford, to what do I owe the pleasure? And Stafford says, Maribeth?
5-minute warning.
All right. These fine gentlemen are attempting a rescue from the, from the Seekers of Truth, and we need a way in. I'm calling in my favor. She looks and kind of squints at all of you, and she says, you want to call in your favor for this? Says, aye, it's important. And she kind of looks around at all of you, just sort of, like, just kind of eyeing you, kind of trying to take the measure of all of you.
I still have that same blank expressionless stare.
Yeah, like Alfred like meets her gaze, and it's just like as she's holding, he's like.
So, Maxim would be pulling from his little, electric cigar or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Rattlesnakes, my favorite game. I like the cut of your jib. I'm just made up a name for the dice game.
She looks down at it and says, well, ordinarily, there being a gambler amongst you, I would offer to play you for it, but, as the captain said, I do owe him. So, she kind of looks around and says, and, these are all coming with you then?
Yes, some might not make it back, but that's another story.
Well then, I think I could do that. She says, follow me then. And she stands up and like leads you out, like kind of into the back alley behind the tavern, and you can as she sort of leads you to this place where there's sort of like a set of stairs that go down into where there's sort of like a sewer, like a grate into the sewer, and she walks over to it, pulls a key out from her pocket, and sort of unlocks the padlock and sort of pulls it open with it. And she just she looks at all of you and says, so what you're going to want to do is follow this down the length of 3 city blocks, and when you reach the intersection, you take a left turn. Follow that until you reach the bridge. Across from the bridge, there is a single torch bracket that was left there. If you pull on it, it'll lead you into a secret way into some of the tunnels that are used by the Seekers of Truth. They'll never expect you coming in that direction.
Solid plan.
No, just keep my name out of this. I don't want any trouble.
Maxim says if she's going to depart, he says the only trouble you'll see or you'll have is when I come back for your gold and a rattlesnake once we're all done with this.
She just sort of like squints at you, and then her mouth just sort of creased with all sorts of wrinkles just sort of starts spreading, just this kind of really unsettling grin, and she just says, I like this one, and she just backs away, then turning, kind of walking back up the stairs and back into the tavern.
If she was making eye contact when she said that, I would definitely have winked at her after she said it. Like,
Ship it.
All right, so
I guess we're gonna start making our way down this. It's 3 blocks we gotta go down, right?
3 blocks, then left at the intersection. So yeah, we I think Max. Oh, not Maxim. I don't think he would definitely not be in the lead. He'd be somewhere in the back.
I would assume Milky would be in the lead because I have the majority of the forces, and Alfred has like the secret unit, that we're gonna break off at some point.
Yeah. So as you're going in, Captain Stafford just sort of says, "Well, I'll lead my boys around the front, come from the side of the historical society, and we'll try to catch him between us." And he kind of holds out his hand to you, like forearm to you, Milky. Says, "Good luck."
Good killing.
And that is time.
Excellent.
Oh, nice.
All right.
Let
So
me get the timer set up for Anthony. Now,
So now
Lucas,
you
you're
take Milky.
excellent.
And when you're ready, and as soon as you start talking, I'll press the button.
Okay. All right. I think I'm ready.
All right, just so as soon as you start the narrative, I will be pressing the button.
We're gonna zoom past maybe about 10 minutes, and you make it towards the bridge, and you see the light, the single torch light that Meredith was speaking about. Behind the light, you see what looks like 2 huge brass doors with instead of a door handle, right? You see what looks like it looks like almost like a bookshelf made out of wood that but you see no visible keyholes or anything. You just see this torch and 2 brass doors where in place of the handle would be, looks like a wooden bookshelf is protruding out of the door.
I point over to
And you also
oh,
notice that this one light is illuminating the entire door and maybe like 15 feet around it. Like it's way brighter than what a single torch light would would show.
Hey, Milky, they said to pull the lever, so I think you should go do that.
All right, I'll make I'll walk over to it and just sort of reach up kind of to where the torch is, and just I'm just gonna yank on it.
All right, you yank on it. The first thing you hear is a clicking sound, and then the sound of like steam being released. And I have a GM intrusion for you.
Oh,
I will
geez.
take it.
Who you giving the XP to?
Ooh, okay. I think I'm gonna give this one. I'm gonna give this one to Alfred.
Okay.
Because I feel like there's gonna be some engineering shit that needs to be done soon. So I'm gonna give this one to Alfred.
Good plan.
The door, you hear some steam being released, and the door opens, and then off in the distance, you hear cannon fire.
Ooh.
Boom, 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 and the door itself, as it like starts opening, the ground beneath you starts shaking, and you hear the sound of more cannon fire. Boom, boom, boom. The lights go out.
Um.
It's give me a perception roll.
Just him or everyone?
All,
Everyone could give it to me because you all hear it.
All right. Well,
that is a natural 20. That's a major effect.
Okay.
I got
I'll
a
tell you
4.
exactly what you know. With Alfred with the natural 20. That was Alfred that rolled the natural 20, right?
Yes.
Correct.
It's coming. The cannon fire is definitely coming in from the direction where Captain Stafford went with his soldiers.
All right. Did they have cannons with them?
No.
So this is something that they have, probably.
Yes, and you can add anything to the narrative, and I'll just roll with it.
Okay, cool. I have a thing I would like to do. Telepathy is long range. And I can still communicate with Terry.
Yeah. All right.
And I never communicated with him telepathically. I only spoke to him and listened to his thoughts. So what I would like to do is I would like to be like, Psst, Terry, it's me, your conscience. It's been a while. I think it's time we had a bit of a talk. Just about the things that you've been doing.
Those fools. Those stupid fools. They fell into our trap, those fools.
Yes, they've fallen right into your trap. But what if your friends run out of powder for their cannons? Where would they keep all of that? And the ammunition?
We hide all. I know we hide all the powder. We hide it in that parade float we made. That parade float.
That's positively diabolical of you, Terry. I'm very proud of you for that. I want you to know.
Yo, it was all Johnny's idea. He was so smart, Johnny. And our boss, our boss Crow.
Well, that's the
our boss Crow told us.
Oh, Crow's the one in charge of it all, is he?
Yeah, he paid us. This is all a ploy.
A trap to lure the map back into their clutches.
Knowledge is power.
I see what he's up to. And I bet he's after Stafford too, isn't he?
Oh, yes, we have something special for Stafford.
You're such a clever one, Terry. Thank you so much. I'll give him the mental equivalent of a little pat on the cheek. So, bit of a problem, and then I will relay everything that I have just learned. But I do know where they keep the powder. It's in the parade float. So if we can find the parade float, boom,
Wait,
all
so
goes by.
If you're saying it all
boom, boom, boom. The ground is shaking more now as the metal doors open up wide, and you see what looks like a long corridor with a dim light, maybe about 70, 80 yards ahead of you.
I grab Alfred by the shoulders and say, "Are you saying Crow is behind us? He was setting us up? Like you were being
the
all
whole
like
time? Who'd have thought?
This is." Oh, I like basically toss you aside like out of my like. Did we ever establish what like Maxim wields as like a weapon?
I was using sort of like the pocket watch as sort of like a flavor for the energy burst.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, either way, he whips out his pocket watch. Then you sees it tune with it a little bit. And his you see like a small sheen or whatever. Like his kinetic energy starting to like waver or fluctuate a little bit. It's like that bastard Crow. After all these years, he's with the Seekers of Truth. And then you see he's like having a small little mental breakdown over like learning this. It's like this is not right.
All right. I think it's pretty obvious what we have to do here. What we have to do here is go in there, find that float, and blow them all to hell.
I like the way that you think.
I clasp the pocket watch shut. Yeah. That's just yeah or duh.
Your guys have about Alfred has about, I think you said 8 to 10 specialized soldiers, right? And Milky, you have about 50 meat shield, grunt soldiers with you.
Yeah.
So you guys have a decision you'll make. Is everyone going down this tunnel, this down this corridor?
Actually, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say, I think it makes the most sense to keep yours with us. The rest of you need to go and help Captain Stafford. He and his boys are in trouble. For right now, the mission has changed. You still might get blown up, but at least this time you'll be doing it to save your captain.
All right, the sound of cannon fire and your last speech about dismemberment has maybe made them second guess their decision of joining this naval fleet. So I'm gonna require a difficulty 3 intellect roll.
Okay.
to convince them.
Let's see.
Can we say, since I'm trained in persuasion, I can provide an asset? Like, I'm just standing up, like, near him very authoritatively, like, puffing on my little, like, cigar. It's like, you can do it, man. Like, and also would reiterate, if you see Crow, the objective is to kill, not capture.
I don't think any of them seen Crow. They don't even know who Crow is.
True.
Yeah, I mean, actually, they've never seen Crow.
No, they definitely would. I still say it, though. I still say it.
All right, so this is to difficulty 3.
But you could definitely give him an asset. He on what you call a maximum, he loaded by 1.
Okay, so
then it's a difficulty 2.
Okay, and this is an intellect task.
Yes.
I think, honestly, I think I'm gonna go ahead and spend a level of effort on this one.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. So that let me math here real quick. Okay, so that
You should have an edge.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So it's down to a difficulty 1 now, I think. So let me go ahead and. All right, that's a 10. That's a 10.
All right. You see them as you talking to them and you're trying to persuade them. You see the first like maybe 20 gun-ho guys immediately take off, right? And then you see the rest start arguing amongst themselves, but then like the next 15 like hesitantly walk off. Then you see the last 10, pushing each other, shoving, and then 9 of them leave, and it leaves one single lone heavy-set guy with long hair that obviously never cut his hair. And he stands there, he looks at you and runs off in the other direction.
That's not even the way we... all right.
Oh, come on. We said we'd put you back together if we found your bits.
He drops his musket as he's running his uniform, and he just starts jetting.
Well, he's just going to get lost in the sewers. I don't know where he thinks he's going. You know what? Who needs him? Let's go blow this shit up.
Yeah. May I spend an XP to say that I have discerned the location of the float from Terry?
Yes, and we could say that. What's the float look like? Because you took a mental image of exactly what the float looks like.
Oh, you've given me too much power. Okay, I imagine like it's really like over the top. It's like this great like sailing ship that they've turned into like that's like drawn by like these huge like steam powered kraken at like all of the 4 corners of it, all somehow made out of paper mache. Like it's insane. It's a huge like triple master, emits like blasts of steam. There's a giant like a giant sphinx's head for like the symbol of knowledge at the front of it that like breathes, and instead of fire like it glows from the inside and then shoots pamphlets out like
all right. So I'm picturing a large sailing ship with a kraken wrapping its tentacles around it, and on the top mast post is a sphinx sitting on top of the mast. Does that work?
Yeah, impossibly made out of paper mache, way over the top.
They have a really good art team in the The secrets
They've
are
got,
true.
they've got a killer PR team.
Knowledge is power. They know they paper mache.
The ancient lost art of. They retained it. They found it in the ruins of a library.
Literally the only float that's made out of
Next
paper mache.
time
Everything
I would
else is
talk to an
metal and
old school
steampunk.
game and say, hey, yo, we played this really cool steampunk game where we had this paper mache.
The animatronic.
That's exactly what it looks like. All right, so now it's the three of you with the 10 what you call it, specialized soldiers running down this corridor. The whole corridor is shaking. The dust from, it's made out of stone inside, and you see every time a cannonball hits, you see the little dust of stone, crumbling down from the ceiling and landing on your head as your guys are running down the corridor, and you hit into what looks like that dim light I said. Standing in the center of the dim light, right, you see a man wearing all burgundy and burgundy goggles. And he goes, stop. He's making no effort. Stop. You're making a mistake.
Can I just see if he's telling the truth? I'm trained and I'm still gonna keep running. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna stop running. But as he's talking to us, can I tell if he's
You give me a roll.
Yeah.
I am also trained in identifying deception, so can I give an asset in some way? Can I
Yes,
help in
correct.
some way? Okay.
I rolled a
I'll say it's a
7.
difficulty 4 roll with the asset of it, knock it down to 2.
I still rolled a 7. Oh wait, if it's a 2, then yes, I succeed.
You get the impression that the person genuinely believes what he's saying.
I tell my comments, wait, he's telling the truth, or he believes he's telling the truth. Let's hear him out for a second. Again, we hear cannons going off. You got 60 seconds. I point at him. I tell him.
He doesn't
speak your mind.
flinch when you say that, like he's even nervous that you could harm him in any way.
But either way, you got 60 seconds. How are we making a mistake?
He goes, why are you attacking the Seekers?
Crow set us up
It's
to
the
be
university.
ambushed. Do you know Crow?
Yeah, I know who Crow is.
Does his voice sound like Crow at all? Or is it muffled in some way? I want to know if this is Crow in full, Seeker attire. Are you
Unless
Crow?
you're telepathy, he's wearing a full ninja.
I ask him,
burgundy
are you
outfit.
Crow? Is this you? I would know
I'm
his
not
voice.
Crow.
I don't. Okay,
I'm Victus.
Victus.
I'm fourth dawn of knowledge.
So why did Crow set us up? He hired
He
us
didn't
to.
set you
I whip out the map. He hired us to seek out this treasure, but you guys are after this too. What? Why did he do this?
You have the map?
I
You
show
have
it
the
to him.
map?
I just show it to him.
I as he shows interest, I pull out the bar and open up the shield and just sort of stand there between the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
Say, yeah, we got the map.
He goes, you have the map? Please follow me. Follow me. You see him get visibly excited, and he starts running down the hallway.
I look at my comrades.
So,
Do we believe this lunatic? I mean, if anything, I look over to the 10 highly trained guards. So if anything goes wrong, we still got these guys. So we don't really have much to lose.
Tell you what, I could go down to the parade float and get ready to blow it up just in case he's lying, and you can figure out a signal for me.
I'm seeing if I have a cipher
Actually, it
that
does.
can let us
Telepathy
communicate or
does
something.
say anyone the user can see. Oh well, but
oh wait. Can I? Oh, I don't know if I can do it. Can I? Spend
He's running.
Okay, can I spend an XP to make it so that so that he doesn't have to see us in order to use that telepathy?
I'll,
I think you have a cipher that's called Eagle Eye on your sheet
Uh-huh.
that lets somebody see a great distance. You could give it to Alfred,
Oh,
You'll be able to see them.
Ooh, yeah, okay, I like that.
Yeah, okay. Here's what here's what I'm gonna do then. Then I'll say, wait, I have something for this. And I like reach into a pocket and pull out essentially like a monocular goggle and just sort of hand it to you. And
Now
say,
this.
yeah. Now with that you'll be able to see us, and then we can give you a signal.
Right. And then I'm gonna come on, boys, we're gonna blow this place up, and then just dash off with a like.
We're gonna maybe blow. Maybe we're gonna maybe. You know, he's gone. He's gone.
Wait, did you take the entire fleet with you?
I'll take like half of them maybe. I'll take
All
5
right,
with
that-
me and leave 5 with you.
We definitely want some insurance just in case this guy is like setting
So
us up.
you're running in the opposite, trying to find this float, right?
Yes.
and
Which
I
I
said-
know the location of from Terry.
Yeah. You know that the float is located in the it's actually located by the university in the docking, the university. It's like Ohio State, the Ohio State University.
Incredible. I would like to go find that float.
You notice that you know that there's actually, it was one of many floats. There was a celebration in this city. What was the celebration for? What was the name of that celebration? You know, Bellport City had a huge celebration with multiple floats from a whole bunch of organizations. Does anyone have an idea what the celebration is called?
I have a dumb one.
Hey, go ahead.
It was just a celebration of all the different gangs in the city. They all have their own float. They just promote their gang, like
Yeah,
and,
It,
you know,
it
there
was
a
an underworld celebration.
yeah, exactly. It was like
Yeah.
a what is it like yeah, the Underdark or whatever. Like it was like the black market version of a parade. Like
Oh,
so it's
Yeah.
only criminals involved. Like it was only a criminal
And
parade.
all the floats were stored in a warehouse right next to the Bellport University.
In my head, I'm thinking of it more like Venture Brother organizations, where they're like these evil organizations, but they're also kind of goofy. So like they're trying to like recruit people, and like they would have a parade like type deal. But yeah, that's just how I'm picturing it.
All right, so you head off. We're gonna say if your guys run at full speed, you know, it's gonna take you like 5-10 minutes, you know, running through the city. And as you run past, you actually see Captain Stafford like holding off this cannon fire from the, because now you see the front of the historical society. You see these 4 massive cannons on top of this like archway firing down at General Stafford and his soldiers. And Milky wasn't lying when he said there was going to be a lot of bodies, and because half his soldiers are now splattered across, but they are making headway because they've thrown hooks and they've been climbing up on the facade of this building, you know, getting up to the top.
All right, good. I need to get in that float.
But if while he had run off, I definitely would have motioned for Milky to follow me to follow that cult, or you know, the seeker of truth dude Victus who ran off, and to see
and I'll
what
motion to
he-
the others, to the like the guys that we've got with us, and like we go after.
All right, you go to follow him, and he leads you into like he runs through you guys run through a series of rooms, and every room you see seems like a library dedicated to a specific science. Like the first room you go into, you see all these beakers and tons of different books about chemistry, right? And it's labeled, like each door is labeled with a different, you know, realm of science. He leads you into a room, like, and you went through a series of these like libraries, like these mini little libraries, right? And he runs you into a room that all alone is a single chair, right? And you see Crow sitting in the chair, leaned back with his chest, his ribcage exposed, and the skin of his chest is missing. And you see his heartbeat is still breathing.
That just caught me hella off guard. I
And he
literally.
He goes, hurry, pull it out. Look. And his chest was a tattoo, and he has it pinned on a board. He goes, hurry up, turn on the device.
Maxim throws up. Firstly, Maxim's like, all right, running into all these rooms, Maxim definitely would have taken one of these books, random like interest book off a shelf from one of these knowledge rooms just to throw some flavoring in there. But upon seeing this, he definitely would have been like, oh! Like wiping his mouth. What's going on?
We're running
here?
out of time.
Time for what? You haven't explained anything to any of us. What's going on?
It's gonna clear up once you turn. Please, I beg you.
All right, I
There's
turn
an
on the
ultimate
device.
power source. There's 3 maps that combine together that gives you. If whoever controls this power source will control the world. There will be no need for coal. There'll be no need for gas. Imagine one single source that could power the entire city. Imagine if it gets in the wrong hands, the war machines they could create. There will be no more knowledge.
I look over to Milky. What? And you just, I'm literally stuttering in character, like just, and then he wants me to turn on, and then it's.
I think we are very far out of our depth here, so we might as well, I guess.
I
And
mean,
if it goes badly. Well.
What you call it? We established that Maxim and Crow were friends, even though there's something murky going on. So, in a last ditch, like, I guess I could trust him. Like, I don't know the full details of everything.
Still breathing, by the way.
Yeah, and
you see his rib cage, which is
Crow.
exposed, and his heart, which is exposed, is still beating. He's laid back, with his head back, and his arms spread out on a leather chair.
I definitely wouldn't approach him to speak. I would just turn it on. That's what the guy is asking, right? To just turn on the map, or yeah, I turn it on.
All right, the minute you turn it on, we're gonna cut to Alfred. Alfred, you guys get into this warehouse, right? What you call it? You direct the guys to bust open the door, and as soon as you bust open the door, right, you see a series of floats, but you immediately spot, because it's the biggest float there. There's a float of caskets of ale. There's a float of different styles of what you call it, women in gowns, like a waltz dancing float. But in the center, it seems like there's like a spotlight on. You see this massive ship with krakens on it, and what you call it, a geffen, right? No, a sphinx on the top mast.
All right, boys, we're stealing that one and we're driving it right into the historical society. And then, like, at this point, he sees in the eagle eye, like, what's going on in the room. He's like, oh my God, that's awful.
I have a GM intrusion for you.
Yeah, give it to me.
Who you give it an XP to?
Have an XP. How much XP do y'all have right now?
I got 2.
2?
All right.
Yeah, take one.
Yeah, you guys are gonna need to burn your XP because
I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
That eyepiece you have on, you see what sparks like a flash of light, and then all the paper mache that's on top of this mass of a sphinx starts to cascade down to the ground, and your guys are standing in front of this huge float with all these like paper mache little pieces of paper raining down on you and blurring your vision slightly when you hear the sound of a mechanical sphinx jump down in front of you, about 40 feet tall, with steam coming out of its mouth and flames shooting out from its back. Give me an initiative roll.
This is the best day of my life!
Oh my God, that is a 10.
Unfortunately, the sphinx It's a difficulty 5, so it's a 15, and it runs forward. Can you give me 2 rolls? One for yourself and one for the guys, because it's attempting to bull past you and rip itself out of this warehouse.
Okay. All right.
Difficulty 5 speed defense roll, or if you have anything else to get out of the way.
Okay. Speed roll. I'm trained in jumping and running each.
Yeah, I'll definitely give you running to get out of the way. So it'll be difficulty 4.
Down to 4.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yep. I'm gonna spend a level of effort to take it down to a 3, and then I'm gonna roll. That's a 15.
All right, now give me 1 roll for your guys.
Okay. They got a 10.
All right, so how did it look when you dived out of the way?
I think like he sees the Sphinx coming and then just looks over and sees a rope next to him and goes, that's convenient, and then just grabs it and cuts it with one of his hammers and just woo!
Nice.
Unfortunately, your reflexes were way better than the guys were you with, so roll me a d6 and -1 from it.
Uh-oh.
Oh, actually, there was 5, but roll me a d6 and add 1 to it. I'm sorry. No, -1. I'm correct. Yeah, -1. Yeah.
5.
Oh, so they all got trampled. Every single one of them. And if you dive out of the way, it whips through, and now there's body parts on this mechanical sphinx, and it rips the whole front gate of the facade of the warehouse. So it's running with half the gate of the warehouse, half the bodies of the soldiers. Some are hanging from the back. And you see one of the guys looks up at you as his last dying breath, and he goes, Milky wasn't lying.
Like cut to like hours later where they get back to the Endeavor, and it's like, where are all the sailors? Where aren't all the sailors? Am I right?
Oh, jeez.
So
Also, you see, Alfred, you see that it's running back in the direction from which you came.
interesting.
All right, so we'll go back to the other guys in the room. So when you turned on the device, right, you saw the map appear, and then the skin that had the tattoo on it, you see like little what looks like nanites start to illuminate the tattoo on the skin, and it adds to the hologram that's on, like, floating above your guys now, and you see it's a map of a little tiny island. Like, the map you had was incorrect. The map that was on his chest was incorrect. They had to be combined. And you see what looks like a little tiny island, the shape of a baby doll.
Oh.
He goes,
I'm still just holding the thing and just like, why Crow? Why all the effort for this? I'm like almost talking to myself, but just like I'm shaking my head, like not really
there,
talking to anyone in
there.
general.
It's there.
Okay, so somebody needs to explain something to me, because we got attacked today. We're pretty sure Crow set us up. Then we thought you were the bad guys. Now I have absolutely no idea what's going on at all.
4 minute.
Almost
warning,
like there
by the
were
way.
4 different people telling this story.
But yeah, 4 minute warning.
Yeah. He goes, there is no bad guy. There's no such thing as good and evil. There's only knowledge. He goes, this could change the world.
Is he gonna be okay? I nod over to Crow's who's over basically with his chest open over there. Is he gonna survive this?
Who cares? He'll get another body. I had to get at the map somehow.
You see Maximus just all, he doesn't know how to take all this. He's
All right,
He's
so let me
smoking
get
his
this
thing.
straight. Are there people coming for this right now, this map?
Oh yeah, we gotta go.
And who is we exactly? Who are you? You're part of this, the Seekers of Truth, right?
He goes, yes. You see this? It's kind of complicated, right? But like with every organization, knowledge comes in levels. You know, the seekers, the ones that you know about, that's a front. You know, that's we let the city worry about us. Let them think that we're some evil organization. But the truth is, if it wasn't for people like me, we would never advance as a society. Because we are not corrupt. Man is corrupt. Knowledge isn't. I only seek the truth. And that, what you're looking at, is where ultimate truth is. And as he says that, you hear that whole hallway ripping apart as this massive, what you call a mechanical sphinx is ripping through the hallways. And the ceiling is collapsing. The sound of cannonball fire has died off. And you just hear the library, what you call it, is crumbling under the weight and power of this mechanical sphinx that's getting closer and closer and closer.
Would like to try something.
Go ahead.
I have
running out of time, so
I have a cipher called an attractor, and I have 2 XP, and I would like to use my repairing steampunk devices to turn to hook it up to the remains of the float and turn it into a giant magnet to pull it back and cause the explosion.
Oh, nice.
Save my friends, blow up the historical society.
Okay. How do you plan? Is you? Oh damn! How are we gonna do this? Okay. All right. Here's the thing. You could definitely do that. Give me 2 XP. That could happen, right?
All right.
But it's gonna be a difficulty 7 roll for your guys to escape in time because you're not gonna know when it's gonna hit. So it'll be a difficulty 7 roll for each of you to avoid the explosion.
I'm down.
Okay.
Is that fair?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm up for this. So like I imagine Alfred is just like racing all over the ship, like tying this like magnetically powered thing, like trying to magnetize basically this entire huge parade float, like all, and then he's like, no, not big enough, and then he like starts plugging it into all the other ones and making like the whole, like trying to magnetize the whole warehouse.
And let's see if we live, I guess.
So
and this
as
will
it's
be
getting closer and closer, you see the top of the warehouse blow up and this float just starts hovering and skyrocketing towards the what you call it, towards the library, I mean the, what was it, historical society. As it hits on impact, it's the same moment this mechanical sphinx jumps into the room with the map is illuminated. Everybody give me a difficulty 7 speed defense roll.
So I'm gonna use effort for sure because we have to actually succeed. But also seeing everything go down, I've reached into my lab coat, and again, I don't know if y'all allowed it, but again, it's under the thing. But I have burst of speed to ensure that I definitely get out. It just makes me move faster. We can flavor.
I mean, I'd say it'll give you an asset.
All right, cool.
Because that's what it does. It doesn't assure you get out.
That's fine. It's just I can move a longer distance. But either way,
yeah. So if you're using effort and that, it'll be a difficulty 5 roll for you.
I roll a 15.
Okay, I was gonna say I have a thing that I want to try, and that is, can I spend the remaining XP that I have for a player intrusion?
Spend it all, because
all right.
It's the end scene, so
yeah, I spend like the remaining XP that I have, the 2 XP that I have, and I am going to look around the with in the explosion, and I'm just gonna look at Maxim, and I'm just gonna say, knowledge is the most powerful thing, and knowledge belongs to everybody. This is too much. And I hold out my hand for the map, for the orb. I say, well, when they find what's left of me, tell them to put me in a bigger body next time. And I'm gonna use the XP to use what is it, to flavor the with the push, with like sort of steam jets come out, and I'll propel myself holding the map into the explosion as well.
All right, we'll say with that you could definitely get it because the Sphinx is like, you see the shadow of the Sphinx going over, like, you know, engulfing you as you give in this speech, and it'll give it'll give Alfred and Maxim another asset on their roll.
Okay. All right. So, can I use Far Step to gain an asset here?
Correct. So if you apply an effort, that'll be a 6. Effort will be a 5.
I have 2 effort that I will apply to this.
Oh, so it'll be a 4.
Jumping?
It'll be
Or
a
running?
3.
Okay.
I'll give you one of the 2, not both.
Okay. All right. Cool.
So it's a 3 right now for you.
May I say, like, the way that I escape is I just like hack off a huge piece of paper mache and and then hug it to my chest, and then I'm like essentially have strapped myself to one of like the giant confetti cannons on one of these things.
I'm picturing once this like float start upon impact, you're gonna see the embers start spreading across the entire, the entire library. And since there's a ton of books in there, everything is burning around you. And you hear the small popping sounds of tiny explosions before the massive one happens.
I'll see it. Like, I feel like with the eagle eye, I see Milky like soaring into the explosion with the map, and I'm like, I'll just give him a salute and then pull the thing on the confetti cannon and just launch myself out.
So did everybody roll?
Yeah, I got 15.
Oh, do you?
And you made your roll too, right, Alfred?
Yeah. Oh, I don't know about him.
So both of you guys get blown out, like literally blown out of the entire library, right? The whole library shatters and explodes and then goes. The last image you see is Milky being collapsed by this steam, this steam sphinx. And you hear the crunch of Milky's bronze body as it starts bending to the pressure of not only this heavy-weighted sphinx, but the explosion that's happening around them. You guys get blown so far away, you'll get blown like 2 blocks away, and you'll each take 5 points of might damage.
Okay.
Just drifting down out of the air on a big piece of paper mache.
And we cut off to the next morning where there's rubble, right? And we see Meredith walking through the rubble, and she picks up a bronze hand holding the orb. And she goes, "Oh, all according to plan." And she puts it in her vest. And thank you everybody for playing GM Roulette.
Yes. Oh my God. That was incredible.
Ending got stretched a little bit longer than the timer because of us, the players, but yes, that was amazing. That was awesome. It was a lot of fun.
All right, so
Oh,
this is the point of the game where we ask each body that went in the order that they played, and just give us your general thought process of what were you thinking when you for your 30 minutes. And that was a lot of fun. Like,
yeah, it was a
I had a
blast.
general direction, but I had to change because the float idea was too cool when somebody went to float. But anyway, John, you went first. So tell us what your thought process was.
So you said steampunk, and immediately my brain, because this is who I am, and it was a piece of formative childhood media for me, I was like, oh, we'll just do Treasure Planet.
Do it.
We'll just do Treasure Planet. And so I was like, okay, well, I don't know if I can get them all the way to the ship or not. I'm just gonna go with it, like try and impart like a bunch of information, see if I can throw out some stuff. Get everyone to get to know the characters and establish a little bit of setting, and then just see where we go. I wanted very badly cliffhanger on like the moment that I did, which is everyone being ambushed by the pirates on the way there, because like that's like very like the beginning of Treasure Planet, where the house, like Jim's house, gets attacked by the pirates after like Silver brings the map to them.
I always ask this question to anybody that starts off at GM Roulette for the first time. Is there anything you would have changed now
Nope.
in hindsight that like the first time running, like Al said, the person that goes first, I personally, that's my favorite order. I love to go first because I feel like you have the most control of the narrative, the first person, because you actually like, you have the blank canvas. Everyone else has a painting that's been started.
Mhm.
So was there anything like in hindsight you think you would have changed?
I wish that I had found a way to lean a little bit more into like kind of the wacky hilarity that we got into later in the game, like early on. But I think I just got too caught up in like trying to like figure out what the heck I was doing early, like because I had like choice paralysis, where I was like, I have an infinite blank canvas in front of me. Like, what the fuck do I do with it?
I think you did an excellent job. You gave us so much to work with.
It was definitely
thank you.
really good.
Al, what was your thought process going second? And what did you latch on from what John gave you?
So I was basically thrusted right into a combat situation, and I leaned into it because it was easy. But instead of picking up that they wanted pirates to be ambushing you, I made it other people seeking knowledge. I came up with the Seekers of Truth, or I guess we named them that, and I made them more of an assassin-y type group that was just after what you guys had, which was the map. And then just to add some plot hooks in there, I let you keep the knocked out guard. He didn't escape with the GM intrusion. There's more stuff to talk to, flesh out a little bit more. And then I had them take away Crow, because then I would give you guys options whether you want to go get treasure, rescue him, so on and so forth. And yeah, it set it up pretty well for the third and final people, I think.
Yeah, taking away Crow, I think, changed the narrative drastically.
Yeah.
How about you, Lucas?
Okay.
You went third.
So I said it. My thought process is mostly what I said right before we came back from break, which was, I'm going into this no thoughts head empty. Let's go. I pulled out all of my like cipher decks. I got my NPC deck. I had my creature deck. I had my intrusion deck. I was ready to go. I mostly latched on to the idea, like what Al was just saying about like the choice of like go rescue the guy or just proceed with the treasure hunt. And so like at first I was going into it with like, hey, let's turn this into like a cool rescue situation with like this, because I found the idea of like the cult of knowledge seekers compelling, so I was like, lean into that. That's cool. But then I was like, maybe we'll just make this a choice and we'll go any which way. And so yeah, that's where I got. I also Marybeth was an NPC I pulled from the deck. So I was like, I'm gonna, like, right before we went live, I pulled several cards from each of the decks, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna make these work somehow. And I didn't bother with the creature ones because I was like, combat is combat, and that's gonna take forever. So if it comes to it, it comes to it. If not, well, whatever. So but I was determined to make the NPC work. So
I mean, you have this. That's the strategy I take no matter where I go in the order. Because I feel, me personally, going last is I'm just gonna take. I try every time I go last. I write notes down of everyone's session, right? And I try to take one thing from everyone, like at least one plot hook, and try to tie it into the finale. But other than that, I try not to think about anything. Whatever comes to my mind is what I'm going with. Like, I knew I wanted to use the float because I know it was said in passing, and those are the best elements to add in GM Roulette. Because it gives you like that. Oh, I remember we said the float. So I was like, I'm gonna do something with the float.
I am gonna have to go back and clip my face Both times when you let me describe the float, and then also when a giant steampunk mecha sphinx jumped off the top of it. That was the best moment of my life.
And I knew I wanted to do something with Crow. Like I was watching Fargo the other day, so I had that weird, like, you know, like the ending is not what you seem. And I didn't know the direction I was going, but I knew it was going to be something weird.
You know what's really funny is I actually had the same idea. I was like, what if Crow set them up the whole time? But like I couldn't follow it through to like, but he had the map already, so that doesn't make any sense. Like I couldn't follow it through to like its next logical step, so I just like abandoned it. So I'm glad that you brought it back in a way that I think worked a lot better than anything I would have come up with.
Yeah, and I love the fact that Milky died because we established that he constantly dies.
Yep.
So in Milky's mind, it's like, yo, they're gonna bring me back. This is just the 5th time I died.
Like my personal headcanon for the epilogue is a few days later, like Alfred has collected all of the pieces of Milky again and like gotten a bunch of new things because one of his skills was repairing steampunk technology, and it's just like sitting there like putting them back together.
Building him in a different body.
Yeah.
I could definitely see that. Just
So the last
working
question
to
I
put it
asked you is,
together.
what are you guys' opinion of GM Roulette? Would you play it again? Would you play it with your friends?
It was so fun.
This was a blast. I
Yeah.
had so much fun.
Yeah.
I had so much fun.
I found that it took a lot of the like the pressure that I often put on myself for when I'm GMing. It took a lot of it off because I was like, not just because it was a one shot, but also because it was like a thing that like you can't, because of the way it works, you can't allow yourself to get married to your ideas, you know?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So you just throw whatever comes out, and I think it gave a lot of freedom to do that, which I really enjoyed. So
You know, when we first started running this, one of the things that I noticed is that it taught me that every idea has multiple branches, right?
Mhm.
And you know, normally when you're a GM, you get caught up on this, like I have this concept and my game has to be this way. GM Roulette taught me that, hey, John is going to come up with something way better than I came up with, and I won't realize it until the moment John starts doing it. You know what I mean? So it's like it's like I don't know, I think it helps you as a GM in a way as well. I mean, at least I hope that's what other people are going to get from it when we release it.
yeah.
It's
But,
definitely
where
fun
can we
seeing how
find
these
you
ideas
guys?
flesh out. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Al.
No, I was just saying it's definitely fun playing with other people's ideas and seeing how they take your idea and just run with it into something that you would have never seen. Like I don't know if John expected me to turn his assassins into this cult instead of other pirates, you know, like that's a branch that maybe wasn't expected, but still very fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't know it was coming, but I dug it. Like
that was me. I was happy anywhere we went. But this actually was a really fun adventure. I really enjoyed myself. But where can we find Rule of Law? Where can we find John? Where we can find Lucas? Let our audience know, you know, how we can reach you on the interwebs.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of links in the description right now, but John and I are over at Rule of Lore, a Twitch channel that is it's a largely focused on tabletop RPGs. Currently, we have 2 tabletop RPG actual plays. We have Infinite Horizon, which is a Cypher system, kind of sci-fi supers game, and where we punch up and fight mega corporations in space. And the other is a D&D 5e actual play with an all LGBTQ plus cast, In Too Deep, where they're running a heavily homebrewed and very off the rails Waterdeep Dragon Heist campaign.
it's fun.
It's very fun. But yeah, so we do all kinds of stuff there. We have our talk show, Ramblemancy, where we just we bring on guests. We talk about all kinds of, not unlike what you guys do at Cypher Unlimited. We've had you guys on a couple of times. So yeah, that's pretty much what we do. So you can check us out at twitch.tv/Rule of Lore, and you can check out any like backlog of content on our YouTube channel. It's all there. All the links are in the description right now. So.
John, you got any personal social medias you want to share out?
In addition to just like all of the stuff that I do over at Rule of Lore with Lucas, I also am a writer and an editor for tabletop RPGs, and I do editing work for comics. So like you can find me on Twitter on the timeline about that stuff at like twitter.com/residentbard, or at my website residentbard.com is where most of my like recent work is posted and stuff. So
And a quick thing, Rule of Law, if you guys haven't visited the channel, they've been on our show several times as well. They're absolutely awesome. I adore these guys. I adore everything they do. Both their actual plays are awesome, awesome, awesome sauce. So please, please, please support them and check them out. We love these guys.
We love you guys too. We talk about it all the time.
yeah, we really do.
And if you like us and you like what we do, you know, join the Cypher Unlimited Discord. We have the largest fan-run Discord server for all things Monica Games. We have over 4,000 members. There being games played every day. Everything MCG related is being chat about. Come visit that or join our Facebook group. It's not as big as our Discord, but if you're not into Discord, you can join the Facebook group and get the same out of it. We constantly talking about all products, MCG, Invisible Sun, Numenera, whatever it is. You know, you can find us there. Give us a little donation on Patreon if you want to support us. Our videos will always be free.
Coffee, not Patreon.
Our videos will always be free, but it helps us out with little things like Zoom course, or visit our online store and get some cool Cypher Unlimited swag like I'm wearing now. You know, I'm running out of breath. And last but not least, go to our YouTube channel and like, share, subscribe there. We're trying to get our viewership up there. Even if you hate us, subscribe to tell us that we're fuck ups, and you know, curse us out in the chat. We don't care. As long as you subscribe, it's good for the algorithm. And I think that's it. Oh, and follow us on Twitch, of course.
Yes. Thank you guys so much for stopping by, and thank you again, John and Lucas, for coming on playing. It was a huge blast. And again, it is coffee, not Patreon. We do not have a Patreon yet. Maybe in the future. Maybe Anthony was hinting at something.
If you want to subscribe, you can subscribe to Rule of Law's Patreon. They rock.
There's that as well. Yes,
That's true. If you really want to subscribe to a Patreon, we've got one. Got you covered.
Put the link down below.
You can definitely throw it in the
Canon
chat.
now. It's like GM Roulette. It's canon. Yeah.
And we'll throw it in the YouTube description when we go and post it on YouTube as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, thank you everyone for stopping by. It was a blast, super fun. I like how the game went. Definitely a lot of fun. Hopefully we'll have more GM Roulette in the near future. And to answer Tankman, I already answered it in the text chat, but just soon TM as far as an actual release date for GM Roulette document on Drive Through RPG
these
or
are
something
still
like
play
that.
tests. Like what we said, we have the core, the game written out, but every time we play test, we go back and watch the videos and we get great feedback from you guys, and it makes us want to change something. You know, it makes us want to, because at the end of the day, we want to provide the best possible improv product we can. And, you know, we're not going to release it until we're 100% satisfied with it.
Yep. So yeah, again, just to wrap things up here, thank you again, everyone. Thank you, John. Thank you, Lucas. Thank you, chat. Thank you, everybody. You guys are amazing. Love you all. And from us at the CU, we will see you later.